Welcome back. We continue to shine a spotlight on 30 years into our democracy. South Africa still grapples with the ghosts of its past. And truth be told, uncovers the untold stories of apartheid's victims seeking justice and closure. So joining them on a haunting journey to the heart of darkness, revisiting the brutal murder of Phila Portia Ndwandwe, a 23-year-old activist who dared to challenge the system. Truth Be Told offers a powerful and timely reflection on South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, especially focusing on cases where justice has yet to be fully served. Pindile's story, of course, is just one of many. And so joining us this morning in studio to chat further about his producer and director of Truth Be Told, Enver Samuel, and documentary main character, Tsidiso Motasi, to explain further. Good morning to the both of you, and thank you for joining us at this hour. We were chatting offline about this. It's hard to condense 30 years of our democracy where justice today is justice denied into this. But naming these people, these families that are awaiting justice is important. It's perhaps a step in the right direction 30 years on. Enver, let me start with you, the process itself, the inception of the work. How would that have resonated with you for you to put thoughts to paper and then ultimately produce this?
So, I mean, if you look at my sort of documentary past, I've kind of have focused on trying to tell these stories of unsung heroes and heroines. So previously I've done 2 documentaries on Ahmad Timol, and the last one was on Dulcie September. So for me it was a natural progression to tell these 6 stories of unsung heroes and heroines, because these are the people that have been forgotten. You know, if you say the name of Mandela and Sisulu, Tambo, you identify very quickly with them. But if I say the names Ndwandwe, Motasi, Mabalani, people will have question marks or blank stares. So in some way, this is allowing us to have a microscope into the lives of people killed during apartheid, killed in the most sort of gruesome way. And it gives their family members a chance to ventilate how they feel today about what happened to their parent 30 to 40 years ago.
Tsidiso, I'm going to bring you into the conversation just a moment. Just on the back of what you've echoed, Enver, the first episode itself, The Breastfeeding Warrior, speaks about, or Tabang relaying his mom's, killing, how he's still trying to understand what happened and whether this was all in vain, particularly because of the generational trauma that had been inherited. Perhaps you could break down the synopsis of that first episode for us.
So, I mean, the title, I think, alludes to a lot, The Breastfeeding Warrior. Tabang was 3 months old when his mother was abducted, detained, tortured, and killed. So that's why that episode is called The Breastfeeding Warrior, because they were separated, and during her detention and torture, she would obviously say, "But I have a child, let me go," and that never happened. And then she was buried in an unmarked grave, and for 10 years her family had no clue where she was. So you can start to gather those feelings that the family must go through. When people say forget about the past, you can see that that's not feasible. And with Tsidiso, I mean, I think it's a perfect example. Tsidiso lost both parents, mother and father.
Tsidiso, perhaps you want to explain the relevance for you, perhaps even the failings of the TRC 30 years into our own democracy.
TRC is another story, but the justice system as well, I mean, not getting justice and closure for the past 37 years. Can you imagine? I'm 42 years now, I'm still talking about what happened with my parents, 37 years ago when I was 5. And I have to relive that again, and that 5-year-old sometimes comes up, because of the feelings. I'm glad that Enver had the time to check, at the archives and see our story, that he has to do something. Because, it was a cold case and not getting justice at the same time, at least now there's movement. I mean, I've got a legal team that's doing their best. The Foundation for Human Rights is also doing their best. So I'm happy with that as well, because there is movement, but I'm seeking for closure. That's the only
Absolutely.
thing, yes.
And justice delayed is justice denied.
Exactly.
Even accountability, the police, the security branch,
Exactly.
that, you know, many of you are responsible for that.
Exactly.
Talk to us about your frustrations on that front, particularly when you're speaking about, there's still more questions and answers.
The frustration is worse because imagine the perpetrators are still somewhere out there, you know. Justice, they're living their lives. They're living legacies for their kids. While our family is broken, our families are broken. It's, you know, my family is broken to the core. I mean, the way it's broken, me and my grand were isolated, you know. That's how broken it is. My uncle became a drunk because of this thing. Because he saw his sister there, you know, the trauma, everything. So whenever I think about it, it's just, you know, it's that horror movie again.
Enver, on the back of Tsidiso's story, I mean, the TRC's legacy is complex.
Yes.
We look at, obviously, the strides that have been taken, the intentions behind it, perhaps also how it's been followed somewhat the world over.
Yes.
What do you think we got right? But now, 30 years on, where to from here? What needs to be done? I mean, more political will as well.
Yes. I mean, obviously, in some countries all over the world, it was considered as a model to follow. And, you know, to a certain extent, it did do a lot of its mandate in giving people, families, the opportunity to ventilate what happened to their loved ones. And in its conclusion stage, it came up with all these recommendations. And that's the problem with the TRCs, that those recommendations were not followed through. Yes. And so today you have thousands and thousands of family members still looking for justice, still looking for answers, still looking for compensation. So for some reason, that process was stalled for a very long time. We are getting slow progress, and you know the Motasi case is coming up.
Yes.
You know, so that's and
you'll have to also be a witness as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so and an example with Phila Portia Ndwandwe's case, if the security police did not go to TRC for amnesty application, we would never know where she was buried. So you know.
What do both of you want to walk away with, or want the viewers to walk away with after witnessing, you know, this? It's not an easy subject matter. It opens up a lot of wounds. How do you also hope we can all heal from this as a nation? Let me start with you, Enver, and then Tsidiso, I'll end with you.
So essentially, what I'd like the viewers to get from watching the series, which is on, that's episode 2 is on tomorrow on SABC 2, is because the families allow us, they open the door into their lives. And it's for fellow South Africans to get an idea that, you know, this is what families that have been affected by gross human rights violations are being subjected to even today. You know, even today it's ever present. So it's something I would like viewers to watch and take cognizance of.
Tsidiso, as we wrap up with you.
For me, it's actually, I'm looking for teenagers, you know, the kids, the future. You know, I would love them to recognize and see and fight for everything that they need to have and deserve, you know.
Yes.
And for them to know their history, because of, you know, kids these days, they're leaving everything behind. You know,
Yes.
they don't appreciate what we have right now. Yeah.
And also that helps us to navigate the future, right?
Exactly.
Because you have to look back in order to move forward. Thank you to the both of you for joining us at this hour. We're wishing you all the best of luck as this series continues to end the SABC.
Thank you so
and also
much.
with your upcoming case.
Thank you so
is
much.
obviously set to
Thank
commence
you,
soon.
Lisa.
Enver Samuel, producer, director of Truth Be Told, Tsidiso Motasi, who features in episode 5. Called Prisoner in the Mind, joining us this morning to chat about the series. As I mentioned, as Enver mentioned, I broadcast every Sunday on SABC 2, having started from the 3rd of November at 9:30 p.m. It's happening for the next 6 weeks.